Welcome to Lab 2 of ARM Templates. I'm an Azure Administrator as well as an Azure Solutions Architect. In this lab, we will add another parameter to the template using two new properties, use a resource function, and use the Concat function. Sounds pretty exciting to me. So let's get started. Hey, okay, welcome back to the second part or the second lab in this series of labs using ARM templates. And here is our current ARM template. The last thing we did, I do believe, is we added a parameter for the storage name. So we could change that at runtime because it has to be a unique value. The next thing I like to do is use a parameter again, but this time give us more choices for the SKU of the storage accounts. So let's get started with that. So this is where we should be here. We'll hit the enter key. Well, let's turn our error list on. Interesting, notice that error we had during the whole episode or the whole time for lab 1. I said I didn't know what it was. It's gone now. So that's good. All right, so, oh, nope, there it is. It's back. Spoke too soon. All right. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to go ahead and hit the enter key. And your cursor should be right underneath storage name. We don't want to be outside because that would be outside parameters. So hit here, hit a quote here, and give the parameter name we want for storage SKU, and I'm just going to use that name. Then we need a curly bracket. And we should get type. There we go. And we want it to be a string. There we go. And then we want a default value is always nice. Come on, default value. There we go. And then we will make that standard. LRS, how about that? Then we'll do allowed values. Since it's going to be a list, oh, there we go, it put it in there for us. Let's go with, remember, if we have a default value, we must have an allowed value for that default value. So standard underscore LRS. Let's make a couple more. We'll do standard GRS. And how about standard RAGRS. Do an undo. Get it back up there. Because we have it a little out of whack. Let's do two premiums, PREMIUM LRS. And let's do premium ZRS. Underscore ZRS. Come on. There we go. And that should do it. And we're missing a comma somewhere. Let's say, does it want one here? guess so. All right. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. Now you might be wondering, Dave, or should I say Speed, or the Azure guy, how did you know what values to use here? There's a lot of different ways to find out. One of those ways is this website. You might want to star this, add to favorites. There we go. I'm gonna add it, and then we're interested in storage accounts. So we would come down here to storage accounts. Pick what API we're doing. How about all resources? What does that give us? That's not what I wanted. Let me just pick this one. Storage accounts. And here it gives us a nice little outline what we could include in our template. But we're interested in the SKU. You can see it doesn't give you too much information. It gives you the basic syntax. The type's always nice to know. But then we could go to property values. And here we see SKU again, required. And if we click here, we then get the values that are allowed. So pretty good there. Yeah, so you really want to know this link. Now we'll learn other ways to get this information as well. But this is a good link for lots of reasons, as you can probably see. If you don't know the exact syntax, if you're doing network ACLs, you weren't sure if that's possible. So these are always good things. This is a good site to know. So let's minimize that. Let's validate our template. And this here we can see at runtime, we can change the value. We now have a drop down for storage queue since we have more than one option. So I could choose that one at runtime, this one, etc. So I'm going to go with this one. I'll save it, validate. Thinking. And there it is. Our template is valid. So excellent. Let's go ahead and run it. Now I did delete the storage groups we created in the first lab. Feel free to leave those there. If you're going to leave them there, make sure you change the name, because if you didn't delete them and you did the first lab in the series, this storage group will exist. Say OK, say deploy. And it looks like we have success. We'll go ahead and check. And we'll do a refresh. And there's our storage account. Pretty good. All right, the next thing we want to address is the location. Right now, it is hard-coded to East US. Now we could create another parameter and have us define that at runtime. But more than likely, you want your storage group to go in the resource group that you defined. So that's what we're going to do by using a function. So let's get started on that. So I'll come up right up here to our parameters, and I believe an enter. Yes, we're under the correct heading. So we'll go ahead and call this location, LOCAT ION. And we'll need some curly brackets. And this is going to be a type. Whoops. I missed the drop down. And it's going to be a string. And then we want it to be default value. Whoops. And it, let me do it undo. There we go. FAUL default. I'm going down to the mouse, clicking here. Well, that's crazy how it does that. All right. Default. I'm just going to type it. Then we want a there and a bracket, and we're going to put in resource group. Location. It doesn't like that for some reason. Let's look at the syntax. Default value, colon, unexpected character sequence, an array, yes. Bracket, resource group. Let's just start this. Let's go ahead and put a comma there because we're going to need one. Type string, that's correct. Enter. Default value. Pick that. And we want a bracket. Resource group. Dot. Location. And then an end bracket. Likes to bear that time. And that should do it, I believe. Oh, no, we have to come down here to our location. Change that to a parameter. So, bracket. Parameters. And then our variable name, which in this case is going to be location. And it finally found it for us. And a parenthesis. And a bracket. Should be that, 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 and that. But looking at that error list, we're missing a comma somewhere. Let's put character in the member value. So we're missing a double quote. There we go. Okay, now I think we're looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and validate our template. And it is a good idea when you create your templates, you validate them as you add code. Else you can end up with a really big mess. And there it is, our template is valid. So pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and deploy. And of course this time, I already have a storage group with this name, so I'm just going to add a 1 to it. And let's make it a GRS this time. And we'll deploy. Looks like we have success. Let's go check our Azure. And we'll do a refresh. There's the first one. I'm thinking it's there rather than show it because Azure is crazy. So let's go to a different one, different resource group. Then we'll just come back. And there it is. So pretty good. Okay, our template is looking better than it was, say, 15 minutes ago. But there's something I still want to introduce the concept to you. It'll be useful in templates many times over and over. And that's another function called ConKate. And the ConKate function takes values and combines them. So we're going to use that function along with our parameters function and what we just learned about the resource group, or the ability to grab a property from a resource, for our storage name, so that derives one unique for us every time based on our resource group name. So we're going to come up here to storage name, change that to actually say storage prefix. Prefix. That's all we need to do up there. The real magic happens down here under variables. We're going to create our first variable. Hit the enter key. And we're going to call it unique. Well, how do you spell unique? U-N-I-Q-U-E storage name. Actually, there should be a double quote. That's a little better. And then we'll quote our good friend bracket, and we're going to use that ConKate. Then we're going to open up a parameter. And our name, storage prefix. And then unique, I-Q-U-E string. There we go, unique string. that's where we get resource group. This time we're going to use the ID property. How about that? Then we'll come down to name here and change parameters to variable. variables. And of course, storage name. And it's pretty nice here. If you look at error list, I knew it will tell you that the variable is not defined. So it's kind of telling you if you need to change it. And our variable was called unique storage name. And it goes away. I think that's all we need to do. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Of course, you probably know the drill now. I'm going to validate. And I want the storage prefix. So we'll go ahead and say speed. And our valid. So let's go ahead and deploy. And it's going to use the same variable we defined. So here's our variable. We're all set. Go ahead and deploy. Oh, and our script failed. The template parameter storage name and the parameters file are not valid. Yeah, so let's look at, we haven't looked at this file yet, and it's still looking at storage name in there. It didn't really save our parameters file. Remember we changed it here? Let's go look at that. Yeah, it didn't change. So we need to fix this. You see, I added storage prefix, but this one's still there. Surprised when we ran it, it didn't. When we saved it, I'm surprised it didn't. Let me just see something here real quick. Parameters. They're not listed here. So we save. Come back to here. Still there. So we should be able to just remove this one. So do we want to, let me get up to, I think we want to go all that. Any errors? Syntax wise? No. So let's go ahead and save that one. And let's do another validate. There's our parameters. Yeah, I have to say, I don't think I've ever, in my work with templates, ever changed a value here like that. So let's go back to deploy. And get in deploy. Template's valid, so that's a little better. I think we're looking pretty good this time. That's a nice little introduction. I'm glad it kind of happened that way. It was a nice way to introduce our parameters JSON file. That every time you create something in Visual Studio using the blank template, it creates a parameters file for you. And we'll talk more about that in different labs. All right, looks like we were successful. Let's check our resource group here. Will it show up automatically, or will we have to go back and forth? looks like we're going to have to go back and forth. So, home. We'll go here. Let it draw. Maybe. Go back to here. Refresh. Oh, it still is in here. Interesting. Where did it put it? Ah. Oh, should have put something with the resource group name in there. Let's do this. Let's delete these. Don't understand where it went. Delete those. Do a refresh. There it is. Crazy. But yeah, it's in the least location. Look, it gave it a unique name. So speed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I think it's a good place to stop again. We're about 25 minutes. And we'll continue improving our template here on the next one. So again,